You lock your door. You close the window. You turn off the light. Then you become unconscious for hours. And somehow, you expect to wake up alive. For ancient humans, that expectation had to be earned every night. There were no walls, alarms, streetlights, or emergency numbers. Beyond the firelight, something could be watching. A large cat waiting in the grass. A hyena testing the edge of the camp. A snake searching for warmth. Or another human group moving through the darkness. Sleep was necessary. But sleep was also surrender. So how did ancient humans close their eyes without being eaten? The simple answer is not that they were stronger than predators. They were not. The answer is that they learned to engineer the night. They used location, fire, sound, plants, memory, and each other. The materials were simple. The thinking was not. To understand the problem, imagine that your bedroom disappears tonight. Your mattress is gone. Your roof is gone. Your doors and windows are gone. You are lying outside with your family. You cannot see beyond a few meters. Every branch that breaks might mean nothing. Or it might mean that something has found you. You cannot simply stay awake forever. Without sleep, attention weakens. Reactions become slower. Memory suffers. Bad decisions become easier. And tomorrow, you still need to walk, gather, hunt, build, and protect children. Refusing to sleep would not solve the survival problem. It would create another one. Ancient humans needed real rest inside a world that never became completely safe. This is where the popular picture begins to fail. We often imagine frightened cave people collapsing beside a fire. No planning. No system. Just exhaustion and luck. But luck cannot protect thousands of generations. Survival required repeated decisions that worked often enough to be remembered. The first decision came before anyone touched the ground. Where should the group sleep? A good sleeping place needed more than a flat surface. Ancient humans had to read the landscape like a security report. Were there fresh tracks nearby? Animal droppings? Bones from an old kill? A narrow trail leading through the grass? Those signs could reveal an animal route. And sleeping directly beside that route would be a terrible mistake. Water was important, but sleeping at the water's edge could be dangerous. Animals also needed to drink. Predators knew this. Low ground could collect cold air or flood during sudden rain. Thick vegetation could hide movement. Loose rocks could fall. A cave could offer protection, but it could also already have an owner. Humans were not the only creatures interested in dry shelter. Caves and rock shelters could be used by large carnivores, snakes, insects, or other humans. So a dark opening was not automatically a prehistoric hotel. It had to be inspected, smelled, listened to, studied for tracks, fur, bones, and fresh waste. A safer location offered visibility and more than one escape route. It had dry ground, fuel nearby, space for people to stay close, and enough distance from places where dangerous animals regularly moved. This was the first protective wall. Not stone. Information. Ancient humans survived because they noticed what modern comfort allows us to ignore. But choosing the right place was only the beginning. Darkness still arrived. And darkness changed the balance of power. Many predators could hear and smell better than humans. Some could move through the night with almost no sound. Humans needed a way to change the environment around the camp. That way was fire. Fire did much more than produce heat. It created light where night should exist. It produced smoke, sparks, movement, and unfamiliar smells. It allowed humans to see eyes reflecting beyond the camp. It turned branches into visible boundaries. It gave a person time to wake others before danger reached the sleeping group. But fire was not a magical force field. A hungry predator did not become harmless because it saw a flame. Some animals could remain nearby. Others might become familiar with human camps. The fire needed fuel. It needed maintenance. Rain could weaken it. Wind could throw sparks into dry grass. Too much smoke could make the shelter difficult to breathe in. Fire solved problems only when people controlled it. That meant gathering wood before dark, separating fast-burning material from heavy fuel, protecting embers from moisture, and placing the fire where light, smoke, and heat were useful without trapping the group. Evidence from Wonderwork Cave in South Africa suggests hominins were using fire deep inside the cave around 1 million years ago. The archaeological evidence does not tell us exactly what every flame was used for. It cannot show us a predator approaching and turning away. But it reveals a long relationship between humans, occupied space, and controlled burning. Over immense stretches of time, fire became part of the human environment. Humans did not grow claws. They built a source of light that claws preferred to avoid. Still, one fire could fade. One sleeping person could miss a sound. The strongest defense was not an object. It was the group. A lone human sleeping on the ground is vulnerable. A group creates many ears, noses, memories, and reaction times. Not everyone falls asleep at exactly the same moment. A child moves. An older person wakes. Someone feeds the fire. Someone returns from relieving themselves. Someone hears a strange sound and sits up. The group may never have needed one perfect guard staring into darkness all night. Different sleep patterns could create overlapping moments of awareness. Modern study of Hadza hunter-gatherers in Tanzania offers a useful example. Researchers monitored nighttime activity among people sleeping in groups. Across 20 days of observation, everyone was measured as asleep at the same time for only 18 minutes in total. For almost every sampled moment, at least one person was awake or moving lightly. This does not prove that every ancient human group slept in exactly the same way. Living hunter-gatherers are modern people, not frozen copies of the past. But the study demonstrates how a mixed group can produce protection without a mechanical alarm. Different ages and different natural sleep times create a living security network. One person's restless night becomes another person's warning system. And when danger appeared, cooperation changed the calculation for the predator. A large cat might overpower one human. But several humans standing together with fire, stones, branches, and loud voices were a different problem. Predators survive by choosing risks carefully. An injury can prevent an animal from hunting again. Humans did not need to become physically stronger than every predator. They needed to make an attack look expensive. One shout could become 10. One burning branch could become several. One pair of eyes could wake the entire camp. That is the power of collective defense. The danger approaches one body and suddenly meets a coordinated group. Ancient survival was rarely about one heroic person defeating nature. It was about many ordinary people creating a system that no individual could create alone. Yet large predators were not the only things waiting in the night. Some dangers were small enough to crawl beneath a hide. Ticks, fleas, biting insects, and other pests could damage sleep and spread disease. The ground itself could steal body heat. It could hold moisture. It could hide sharp stones and crawling animals. So ancient humans changed the surface beneath them. At Border Cave in South Africa, researchers found evidence of grass bedding dating to around 200,000 years ago. The grass was associated with layers of ash. Researchers have suggested that ash may have helped discourage ticks and other crawling pests. It also created a cleaner surface between people and the cave floor. This was not a modern mattress, but it was environmental engineering. People collected material, moved it into the sleeping area, arranged it, and managed the surface over time. They did not simply accept the ground as it was. They redesigned it. Another remarkable discovery comes from Sabudu, a rock shelter in South Africa. There, archaeologists found evidence of plant bedding from around 77,000 years ago. Some of the bedding included aromatic leaves containing natural insect-killing chemicals. We cannot know whether every property of every plant was understood in a modern scientific way. But the selection was not meaningless. People were bringing particular plants into the place where they rested. Later layers at the site also show that old bedding was burned. Researchers interpret this as a form of site maintenance. Burning used bedding could remove waste, destroy pests, and prepare the area for a new layer. Think about what that means. A sleeping place was not chosen once and forgotten. It was cleaned, renewed, and improved. Long before bedrooms, humans were already managing their sleeping environment. And a well-managed camp could reveal danger more clearly. Dry leaves outside the sleeping area could make footsteps easier to hear. A clear space reduced hiding places close to the group. Tools placed within reach shortened reaction time. Children and vulnerable members could remain closer to the protected center. Not every group used the same arrangement. And most temporary barriers leave little archaeological evidence. But the principle is simple. Distance gives warning. Noise gives information. Organization gives people time. This was primitive engineering in the best sense of the word. Not complex machines. Careful control of space. Ancient humans also carried maps that were never drawn. They remembered where predators had been seen. They recognized seasonal animal routes. They knew which water sources attracted danger after sunset. They learned which sounds belonged to ordinary night activity, and which sudden silence meant that something had changed. This knowledge could be taught without a textbook. A gesture toward tracks. A warning beside the fire. A story about a previous attack. A child moved away from the edge of the camp. Each lesson allowed one person's experience to protect someone else. Trial and error was part of this process. But error in the ancient world could be brutal. A poor campsite could be abandoned after one frightening night. A useful plant could become part of the next sleeping place. A fire arrangement that controlled smoke could be repeated. A warning sound that worked could be taught. Over generations, successful behavior became shared knowledge. This is one reason ancient intelligence can be difficult to see in a museum. Stone survives. Bone sometimes survives. But a decision does not fossilize. A night watch leaves no skeleton. A warning whispered in darkness leaves no artifact. The exact position of sleeping bodies may disappear before morning. Archaeology gives us fragments. Ash. Burned bone. Plant remains. Repeated hearths. Maintained living surfaces. From those fragments, researchers reconstruct possibilities. Not every possibility is certain, but together, they reveal something important. Ancient people did not enter the night without preparation. They built layers of protection. First, choose the right place. Then inspect it. Clear the immediate area. Prepare the ground. Build and maintain fire. Keep the group close. Place useful tools nearby. Listen. Remember. Respond together. No single layer was perfect, but several imperfect layers created something close to safety. Modern security still works in much the same way. Your house uses distance, barriers, light, alarms, community, and stored information. The materials have changed. The principle has not. Your outdoor light is a controlled signal at the edge of your territory. Your alarm replaces the ears of a lightly sleeping group member. Your locked door creates reaction time. Your mattress separates your body from the ground. Your weatherproof roof keeps the sleeping environment stable. Modern comfort is not the opposite of ancient survival intelligence. It is that intelligence, expanded and hidden inside technology. Tonight, you may close your eyes without examining tracks outside your home. You may sleep without collecting fuel, without studying the direction of the wind, without listening for breathing beyond the firelight. That does not mean the problem was always easy. It means other humans solved it before you arrived. They learned that safety was not a place they could simply find. Safety was something they had to build together. Night never became harmless. Predators did not disappear. The ground did not become soft. Human bodies did not stop needing sleep. Instead, ancient humans changed the odds. With a carefully chosen camp, a maintained flame, a layer of grass and ash, a remembered warning, and another person awake in the darkness. You do not sleep safely because humans escaped nature. You sleep safely because thousands of generations learned how to make danger hesitate. You inherited the quiet. They built it.